Yo, what's good, people? We back at it for another episode of What's the Word with LJ Mentor podcast. As always, I'm your host with the most LJ. You back up in here for another week. Oh man, so a few weeks into the new year now of 2022. Um, I thought this is a good time if you haven't already, but looking at it myself, I feel like this is a really good time to um, not dwell but reflect, right? On just things you've done from previous year, just things you done to led up to where you at right now. If you in a better, great position, maybe you in a position where you might not quite want to be just yet, but so yeah, that just to see gauge like okay, what do I need to do to make that no matter where you are, whether it's a great place, whether it's you consider it a bad place, in between place, whatever it is, it's a good time to look back and say, all right, what can I do to get to that next step? You know. So this leads me to my word of the week, um, which is my word of the week this week is mistakes. Um, the reason why not just mistakes, but the idea of learning from your mistakes and growing from them, right? That's what we're supposed to do instead of making the same old mistakes. I'm sure everybody knows somebody out there, right? Whether you got a homeboy, a homegirl, um, family member, significant other, somebody. I'm sure everybody knows somebody in their life where people constantly giving them advice about it, like, yo, you gotta learn from that. Don't do that shit no more. Um, they still keep making that same, mistake, and they just ain't learning. Sometimes lead to them getting locked up. Sometimes it leads to them in a real bad situation, whatever it is. But the key is to learn from mistakes and grow. Not just in life, but in business, on a job, in a relationship. Um, it's just the key is to learn and grow from it. And yeah, what I wanted to really address this week um, about mistakes. Just take an example, right? Some instances of your life where you be like, oh man, I shouldn't have did that, or um, whatever it is, and you just look at it and you just like, man, oh man, wish I wouldn't have did that. Now, where you at might be right now might not even be relevant to that situation right now, but who knows when something like that might come up where you just don't want to make that mistake again. So the key is to, I think, always reflect. I'm sorry, not always reflect, but just to reflect on it and learn and say, hey man, sometimes it's good to one thing I like to do too is I like to keep some stuff. I like to write a lot of stuff down. I know I use my phone for notes, but I like to physically write stuff down too. Still with pen, paper, pencil, whatever. Um, Sometimes I like to do it to remember stuff that I need to take care of, but sometimes too I like to write stuff down that I might have done before, even though it might be a painful memory. Sometimes it's good to write stuff down and make sure like uh, you don't do that anymore. Um, it's a good. I feel like it's a good tool, to move forward uh, with things, right? Rather than continuously making a mistake, right? Even let's say simple, something you did working out right. You might have pulled something, right? Just using a basic example. You might have, like, let's say you're doing deadlifts or something like that, and you're not doing them right. Your form is wrong or something. You might have a trainer, whatever the case. This is a basic example. Uh, and then you feel the pain later on. I mean, you most likely gonna feel pain, um, and you doing a good workout anyway after the workout, but you shouldn't pull something doing something like that, right? So you need to make sure your form is right, right? Or trainer, make sure your form is right, or you watch videos, they show you how your form is right. Just so you don't do that again, where you pull something or something get out of place or you get injured or something like that. That's some people when they make certain mistakes, it may become intimidating uh, to try and tackle it again, right? Let's say you at a job or and you make a mistake, um, and you might be afraid to tackle it again, but you can't be afraid. You just gotta grow and learn from it. Let's say you want to start a business and everything isn't gonna be aligned perfectly. I know mine definitely was when I started my business. Things aren't gonna be aligned perfectly the way might have in your head. Oh, you might want this in place. You might want to have a certain money. One thing I learned, you just gotta start and go for it. Now, it's easy to start the business, but maintaining it is the difficult part. Um, you might have, let's say for example, there's some forms you need depending on whether you selling services or selling products. Is different types of forms you need. You gotta see what some businesses you need a business license, some businesses you don't need a business license. For it's like a seller's permit, you might need a seller's permit. You might not, depending on what you're doing. Um, and when it's time to do your taxes, when it's time to this is a lot you because there's certain things you need to have in place to actually get it going. And when you first start out, you most likely aren't going to have everything in order. I know I definitely didn't. So I've gotten advice from people. Even before I started the business, I've gotten some coaching, but there's certain things that I still didn't have in place when it was time to do my taxes. I'm like, oh, I didn't have this form. But I'm not going to get into all the particulars about that. But I just wanted to provide some of these examples, right? As far as when you make mistakes, you just got to learn and grow from it. Don't be afraid of it. When you make a mistake, depending on how big it is, you might think it might hinder you, it might stress you out, it might be a situation where you just feel like I said before, where you just might be afraid to even tackle it again. But key is to make sure you just want to stress this enough, and sometimes too you gotta use your best judgment, and sometimes you might not want to, depending on what it is, tackle again. You might want to be like, wow, this is not for me, and just move on to something else. Not that you're afraid of it, but you realize, you assess the situation. You like, you know what? Yeah, I definitely ain't doing that. No more. But yeah, I just wanted to take some time in this week to really stress that as far as like the mistakes. I feel like this is a good time to do it. A few weeks into the year, not to dwell on it too much, but I think it's a good time. Some part of the year, just look back and be like, okay, I made this mistake before. What can I do to make sure I don't do that no more? So yeah, he's to learn and grow from it. And so yeah, we going so yeah. Next thing I want to talk about, to keep into the theme of the word of the week, right? Of mistakes. I want to talk about this particular TV series. Now, in a way, there's certain parts of the show that I want to talk about that's kind of relates to the word, but not the entire show. But I'm talking about Ozark. It's my absolute favorite show on Netflix by far. There's some others I like, but yeah, about that because it's coming Friday. Um, season 4, and I believe it's the final season. Is going to be airing this coming Friday, and it's not only the final season, but yeah, they're airing it in 2 parts. So part 1 is coming out this Friday, and the second part is coming out a later date. It's 14 total episodes, I believe. The first, I'm not sure if they're gonna do the first 7 this Friday, and the last 7, I'm not sure if it's half and half, but yeah, I'm just gonna find out Friday. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to that. Like I said, my favorite show on Netflix. I know a lot of shows got delayed because of the whole pandemic, COVID. A lot of shows got pushed back. I'm still waiting on a couple other shows too. Top Boy, that's one on Netflix. They had announced filming back in the end of 2020, and hasn't been nothing since. But yeah, I believe, but yeah, Ozark is coming back for a finale, and I'm looking forward to it. Now the reason why I said this is still kind of relates to the word of the week is because of the way certain things went about in the show. Especially the first season how it started out, there was a lot of mistakes made, especially to the whole. But if they didn't make the mistakes, I guess they wouldn't make for the great plot that is the show. And when you watch certain shows, I'm like, yo, why the hell? Like, yo, why the hell, son, why they do that? Like, why they do that? If they would just did this shit, I don't know how people, especially when you really invested in the show. Notice when the show is really good, you really like invest in these characters. Like, that's how you know a show is good, when you really pissed off when a certain character do something and it kind of sits with you for a while. That's when you know it's really good and you're invested. I just be looking like, yo, why the hell you do that shit? Like, you're like, I don't know, but yeah, how it started out, I don't want to give up too much info, but I do want to talk about it. At least the first season, maybe whole seasons a little bit, but actually how it started out, about the man, Marty Bird, the leader of the show, his wife Wendy. They starts out with him. I guess he's in a meeting, and his wife, he sees I don't know. I guess he had some cameras set up, and I guess maybe he was suspecting his wife was cheating, but he caught her in the act. Like literally, she was getting her back blown out. I'm like, yo, this is his wife, and she getting. And he is just, and it is crazy. He watching this while he's in a meeting, and I'm like, yo, man, this is crazy. And then how everything plays out with the dude she was cheating with, how that played out, that was crazy. And then later on with their kids, but then they show the whole later on. And see, they show the whole backstory of how that came about. But later in the one thing that frustrated me about his wife is she gonna have the nerve when they address it, when Marty addresses his wife, she gonna have the nerve to try to justify the shit about her cheating, saying like, oh, people cheat and all this other shit, and like she was happy for a long time. I mean, you ain't have to do that to the man, especially when he ain't never cheated on you. That's now I would probably really like Wendy, his wife, her as a character, if she didn't do that. Like that was that big mistake that she made in the beginning. Like, meanwhile, this dude, yes, he was working long hours and trying to provide for your family, your 2 kids, trying to get stuff done. talking about you unhappy for a long time. Like, I ain't never talked about the shit. I don't know, but he was, and he still stuck with you because he loved you. I mean, that's crazy. Um, he better than me, so I'm like, I'm out. So I would have been out. I'm sorry. I mean, still take care of the kids or whatever. But as far as having a relationship, like, nah, I'm out. So, but yeah, I think Shorty was tripping. But yeah, I would probably really like Wendy if she didn't do that because as the show progresses, she turned out to be a very, very valuable asset. And to me, she's a great character on the show. I think like she's really smart too as far as the things she's done accomplished. But the whole backstory of how that came about as far as like him getting involved in some illegal activity, Marty. Just the whole story how that came about. The family on the run and all this other stuff that goes on later in the show. The main plot is just like, man, like if Marty never got in business with this dude, because I mean this dude has a background in finance and he's really, really, and he shows he's really great with numbers and breaking down numbers, and getting things accomplished. Um, but he got involved with the wrong people, and leads to some very destructive things that have happened, like people getting killed, to people getting misplaced, to people in fear of their lives on the show. He got in business with the wrong people. Um, and he made that mistake, but that dollar amount, he's like, man, this sound good. And sometimes you in a stressful situation too, where your bills piling up, and I feel like this can kind of relate to real life when you stressing out and somebody like, hey, I got this opportunity for you. I'm gonna make you a lot of money. It sounds good, but you know it's fucked up. If you do get involved with them. But sometimes when you stressed out, you angry, it tends to lead to irrational decisions. And I think Marty was actually really irrational. Him and he did speak about it with his wife. Like, man, we could get all this money working with dude. So, but yeah, that's the biggest mistake is getting involved with. They got involved with business, and they probably should never have because they cost them, and they got their kids involved. I'm like, man, that's crazy. They got their kids involved in this, moving money around. I'm like, man, this shit crazy. But yeah, that's it. Not that people gonna go out there and work with some people on drugs, but I'm just saying, when you in some stressful situations in real life, like I said, whether it's bills, whether it's whatever it is that's really stressing you out, and you might have an opportunity that could make it better for the short term, but it's gonna lead to all these problems in the future, and you know it's gonna lead to those problems. There's no way around it. Um, it can lead to irrational decisions. You may think like, I right now, like, hey, it's risky, but hey, I got that under control. You gotta like, at this ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. So yeah, when you in these situations, you try and rationalize, like how Marty and Wendy did. They try to rationalize, like, hey, it may be wrong, but hey, we're gonna be in a better situation. We gonna have this. We gonna have that. But we know we shouldn't be doing business with this dude. But hey, we gotta get this money. So, but yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, it's stressful out here. Like, bills don't go away. Bills gotta get paid. So you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess, what they say, right? So, yeah, that's just my whole point too. There's a lot more that goes on other than that, than these mistakes. The show, if you haven't seen it, it's a lot more than that. I think it's a great show. It's my favorite show on Netflix. But I just wanted to use that example as far as keeping with the word of the week, as far as mistakes that was made, some very big mistakes. But if it didn't have no mistakes, I guess it would lead to the show, the whole plot of the show, that everything that took place. It makes it a great, interesting, entertaining show. So Uh, yeah, just wanted to address that as far as making mistakes. But hey, in life we gotta make mistakes. Everybody at some point in their life, no matter how perfect we might seem or do certain things, um, make mistakes is just to grow from them. Um, and and when you in a certain business, you wanna get in business or this particular job, it's not gonna be great. It ain't gonna be gravy right away. Um, mistakes are gonna be made. It's just to go from. Now I know there's a old saying that says practice makes perfect. I don't believe there's a such thing as perfect, as because humans we're meant to be flawed. Even though we can be great people and use level headedness and all that, but I don't believe there's such thing as perfect. But I do believe practice makes great to elite. I do believe that practice makes great to elite. So you can get to, I believe, good, great, elite at whatever you're doing. I do believe that. That's my saying. They say practice makes perfect. Mine is practice makes great to elite. That's me. So yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. So yeah, as I said, theme of the week was mistakes. Word of the week was mistakes, and learning. And the key really is just to talk about learning and growing from it. And so yeah, that's gonna be it for this week. I'm about to get up out of here. So as always, stay safe, stay positive. Stay sucker free. I'm out.